Good afternoon, everyone. This is Patrick, Hobbies and Habits. And what we will be doing today is an overview. I want to say review, but I really haven't had enough time with this model to review it. So this is going to be probably an extended, in-depth overview of it. I haven't done one of these in a while, so let me explain what I do in an overview. I talk about the buying experience because I just received this from a 3D printer. So I'll talk about the buying experience, the shipping, the figure itself, of course, and stuff along those lines. So kick back, put your feet up, get your drink. This is going to take a while because I've been anticipating and waiting for this anxiously for over a month, folks. I am really excited about this. So let's go ahead and get right into this. I want to start with let's start with the seller. And while I talk about the seller, I'll try to find something interesting up here to show you. I know it's not much to look at since it's in pieces, but that's the best I can do for now. All right. I got this from a seller on Etsy. If you're interested in who I got it from, please leave a comment. Let me know. I'll give you his information. And you know what? Hold on. Before I go any further, let me go get the box that it shipped in. All right, folks, I'm back. And here's one of the shipping boxes. It actually came in two of these boxes, the same size. And this came from South Bend, Indiana. And the boxes were, I guess they did what they were supposed to do, and that is protect what was inside. They had a little bit of damage, but they did what they were supposed to do. And that's all I asked for in a box. The seller used some pretty sturdy boxes. That's always a good thing in my book. Now, it was each piece was wrapped in this plastic here. And for cushioning, he used it looks like a cushion. You know, like if you take the cushion out of your car seat or from your couch, that type of cushion, and it was broken into little bitty pieces. And that is what he used for cushioning. And it protected everything. There was no damage to the model. Now, let me tell you, folks, if you decide, hold on, let's go back over to, I think we were done talking about the box. Yep, not much to see there. So if you plan on buying this, you might want to do like I did. And when you unpack it, take it outside to your trash can and just take the parts out there so you can dump all that cushioning into the trash can. If you do it inside, the stuff is going to be all over your house, and it's going to be a headache trying to get it cleaned up. So just a word of advice. Now, okay, we talked about the packaging, shipping. The seller shipped this via UPS. I think it took about 2 days to get here from South Bend to Georgia, where I'm at. So the shipping was quick. Let me see, what else can we talk about? Communication. All right, communication was good. When I contacted the seller on Etsy, he provided me a lot of information. I didn't really have to have communication with him throughout the printing process, and we'll talk more about the printing time in just a moment. I got a little anxious and a little antsy throughout the process. I think I waited just over a month for this. And I wanted to contact him and say, hey, what's going on? What's the status? Blah, blah, blah. But I didn't do that. I didn't want him to feel that I was rushing him. I know this printing process takes time. And so I didn't do that. Now, at about just over a month, I did send him a message and say, hey, how's things going? Not being pushy or anything, and just to see where we were at. And he said, hey, I'm almost done. I'll be shipping this out to you in a few days. And he did. So communication was good. And like I said, he gave me a lot of information, and I'm about to forget. So let me go ahead and jump right into this now, folks. This is not a resin model. This is made from something called, now correct me if I get it wrong, I don't have a bunch of notes, but I believe this is Petg plastic. My first time dealing with this, I found out about this plastic when I read the description of this model on Etsy. So I started researching it. I know a little bit about it, but not enough to try to explain it to you. So if you're interested in what that is, please Google it and check it out. And let me jump back to some stats real quick so I don't forget that. The printing time for this was 5 days, 16 hours, 13 minutes. And the material usage was 4.7 kilograms. For all of you statistic nerds out there, that's the information. And I think that's considered 5 days. I think that's considered a long time. I'm not sure. Any of you 3D printers out there, just leave a comment. Let me know. Is 5 days a long time? And I know that's not like consecutive, like straight 5 days straight. I don't believe that's how these guys print the stuff. They might print it for like a few hours a day, then take a break, come back. And so I guess all those combined hours add up to 5 days, all right, plus. Now, back to this PETG. This stuff is great, folks. If possible, I would just completely get away from resin and get everything done in PETG. Now, if there are any drawbacks to this, someone please let me know. Like I said, I did a little research, but not a whole lot. I have to do some more before I actually commit to what I just said. But if this stuff is as good as it seems to me now, I would try to get everything printed in PETG in the future. Let's talk about this for a minute and let's look at it. First of all, hold on. Let's do this so I don't forget. Hold on. Let's back up, folks. I'm forgetting something. Let's talk about this model here. Now, the parts for this model, there are 1, 2, and this is the base right here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 parts to the base. We have the 2 legs, the upper legs, and the torso, along with the head. It's attached. And a few tendrils. I mean, not tendrils, but some, I guess, symbiotic stuff here. Not a whole lot of parts. And in my book, that's a good thing. Sometimes it's nice to have a bunch of parts to mess around with and put together, but I like keeping things simple. And so in this case, I really like that. There's less stuff that can fall off or break off or get lost. This stuff, hold on, I didn't want to start with that. I want to start with this. Now, this is what it looks like, folks. It looks like corrugated cardboard. And hold on, let me show you something else that will make hold on. Okay, hold on, I'll be back. And I am back. Now, this will make more sense. If you can see that clearly, it's like corrugated cardboard. And I thought that this was hollow. And my plan was to fill this with resin, but I don't think it'll be possible. And I don't think it'll be necessary because this stuff it's well built. I don't think there's a big chance of this stuff just getting weakened due to the heat or anything like that and just falling apart or breaking or cracking. I don't think so. Correct me if I'm wrong. But I like this stuff. It's going to save me money on putting resin in it. And it's going to save money on maintenance. Like if something cracks or falls apart, I won't have to worry about fixing it. So I'm really loving this PETG, folks. Now, let's see, what was I going to say? All right, I think I wanted to talk about the thickness, and I'm trying to find, hold on. You can see a little bit here, but I saw another part that really showed how thick some of this model actually is. Let me see. Okay, I'm not seeing it right now because I have been doing some I have been doing some preliminary work on this, as you can probably tell. When I get my models, I like to pre-assemble them, put them together instead of putting them in the box. So I put them together and just set them up on the shelf. That way I won't lose anything and hopefully won't break anything. So I had put it together and took it apart, and that's what caused this. I put some hot glue on here to temporarily put everything together, and while I was taking it apart, it pulled apart right here. But that's not a big problem. And that hot glue, folks, oh, that's another thing I wanted to say about this. You know how resin models are real slick or smooth? That's a better term. It's smooth. This stuff here, if you look at it, I don't know if you can see all the print lines in that, but it's not smooth. And that can be a good thing because that hot glue really bit into this. It had a bunch to hold on to, and I caught hell trying to take these apart with that hot glue on it. Now, I have had a different outcome with resin models. It doesn't stick as well to resin as it does to this here. And I like that. That means, again, I won't have to worry so much about this stuff just falling apart in the future due to the heat or just fatigue. And I'm digging this, folks. You probably can tell I'm really digging this stuff. So let me see, what else? I really wanted to show you the thickness of some of this. Hold on, let me see. Let's see what we got here. Well, I'm not going to be able to show you, but it is pretty thick, folks. Let's see. Okay, we looked at the hands, I believe we did. Okay, let's pick this up, get a look at this. Beautiful work. Look at this stuff. Look at that. Oh, and I forgot, folks, this bad boy is 3 feet tall. And this is my first commission model. Well, hold on, let me rephrase that. This is my first large scale commission model. And I wanted to go big. I went as big as I could afford. Speaking of afford, the cost I think was around $5. And with shipping, taxes, I believe it came to around $6. I don't really like talking about price a lot, but in this case, I'll make an exception because I think it was worth it. And the reason I mention price is because statues, a regular statue made by a statue company that costs you $1,000 and up, you can get one of these for a less price, of course, depending on the size, and put a little work into it and save a bunch of money. Overall, I'm loving this, folks. Again, it's 3 feet tall, minus about 3 inches for the base. So the rest of that is actual height of the figure. Let's talk about these. And again, as you can see, I've done some preliminary work. I drill holes into that. I plan on putting a rod in here and gluing it together. I will be using magnets to hold it in place along with, hold on, that's on the other one, along with that steel rod right there. Because this foot right here in my hand, that is the support foot, and that will be going right here. And I have already put some epoxy clay in here to strengthen it after I drilled holes into it to give it something to hold on to. And another thing about this, folks, this has no, hold on, how can I say this? This model stands, okay, first of all, it's a museum model, as you probably can tell. It stands straight up and it requires no support, nothing except the 2 feet to hold it up. I put it together except for this arm. I didn't want to take a chance on it falling off and breaking. So this other arm, everything else was put together and it stood erect with no external support at all. So this thing is very well balanced. I love this. Now, okay, where was I at? Don't need that toothpick. Okay, I talked about the feet. Let's talk about the torso. Now, the head, I just wish that the teeth had been separated. You know what I mean? Like, I wish his mouth had been open, but I can live with this. That's cool. It's kind of like that evil kind of grin. I'll be all right with it. But I guess if I had a complaint, I guess that would be the only one. I just wish the mouth. But you know what? Then again, folks, every model and statue we see with Carnage, his mouth is open. So that's a nice change. Yeah, I'll be all right with that. All right, and that leaves the upper legs. And that's what that looks like. And there was the rods I put in there to hold it together. Okay, now I did mention that I had one complaint, which is not really a valid complaint, but there are two areas that had some issues, and that was this right arm. It would not fit all the way it would not key in all the way, but that won't be a big deal. All I have to do is do a little sanding work on it to shave it down, and it'll go up in there. Let me see, there was something else. What was it? Well, I think that was it. So that's it, folks. That's the Carnage 3-foot model. And I wish I had the person who made this, I wish I had his name handy. I'll include it in the subtitles, because when someone does something like this, something that I really like, I want to give them credit for it. And also I will be sending him a message and let him know that I really enjoy his work. Let me see. Okay, that's all I can say about it, folks. Please comment. And as always, I want to thank you for watching the video, and thank you for continuing to support the channel. Let me see, this won't be much of a thumbnail, but let me see what I can do with it. No, that's not gonna work. I have to find something for a thumbnail. Thank you, folks. Bye.